Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I'm Isani Cayetano. Good morning.
And thank you for joining us on this Monday morning.
It's the 20th of December.
I was going to say, it's not just any morning, right? This is the lead up to Christmas. Let me tell you something. It is going to feel like a long week. 5 whole days before we get there.
It seems like you're already counting down already.
Well, I mean, it is Christmas. I'm thinking of the kids this morning, thinking, one, they're out of school, and two, we know they just look forward to Christmas. Usually we have a shortened week around that time.
Yeah.
Feels like less time before you get there, but no, we got a full week ahead.
Well, let me be straightforward and honest with you here, Marlene. So I was looking forward to Christmas for the sake of my kids, right? But then sickness got in the way.
I know.
And it kind of put a damper on how things unfolded around the house. But I'm hoping that by the middle of this week, we'll be able to turn things around, right? And catch up with the past 2 weeks that we've been kind of behind on, just for the sake of the kids. I know that for me, growing up as a child, Christmas was the thing, right?
Yeah.
You look forward to eating cake, stealing some rum pop with some extra strong in there, opening your gifts on Christmas morning, and running around the yard with your toys.
Yeah.
That was the Christmas experience for me. I've noticed that it's been kind of different for other kids over the years, right? We went from toy trucks and bicycles to tablets and other stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see how that has changed over the years.
And that's just the gift part. I know as a child growing up, the traditions were tied to the overall Christmas preparation, what we all do in Belize, you know, painting the walls, cleaning the house, organizing things, you know, getting that fresh marley at the end of the, right before Christmas for some people. And I know some people wake up on Christmas morning, not to the smell of ham, but to the smell of fresh paint on the walls, right?
Because they're up late on Christmas Eve doing the final touches, right? And so you wake up Christmas morning and, like you said, instead of smelling the ham and the turkey, you're still smelling that oil paint.
But you know, now as adults, I get it, you know, our parents had to work, and so it was a matter of just being able to get it in at the time that they could, and so sometimes that meant Christmas Eve, you slather on that fresh paint, because when Christmas comes, you want it to greet a home that is prepared for it.
Were you out and about this weekend by any chance?
No. I have staggered everything so I don't have to be out in the crowd.
Well, I just passed by on Saturday.
Yeah.
And the hustle and bustle in downtown Belize City, man, it's amazing.
No, it is. And you know, I think when I saw it last weekend, but I do think that one of the things that definitely comes to mind is one, it's very different compared to what we saw in 2020. And I know that the businesses are very happy for that. But I do hope that there still is the same level of awareness and caution as we have been trying to practice in the past year and a half.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting week. I'm looking forward to it. Every minute of it.
All right. But of course, there is a lot for us to get into, and there's still a lot happening around the country. But I just, you know, I want to know, how ready are you for Christmas at this point? You'd say what percentage? You said you're waiting for Wednesday, right?
Whew, I hazard to say how ready I am. Let's just say
10%?
that I'm not going to throw a figure out there because I don't want to put myself out there. But let's just say that my mom and my dad have made up for the shortfall on my end.
Okay.
So, you know, visiting their house yesterday and seeing the trees up and the lights and everything.
The lights. Speaking of the lights, the overpass lights. I had my, the little ones in the family, they took them to see it, and we saw some pictures. The amount of people who are taking time out at nighttime to go over the overpass, which, let's be honest, is very rarely used. It is amazing to see. I love it.
What I must comment on I think it's in last week that we did an area
Yeah.
of the overpass, and it's beautiful.
It is.
The whole light work and everything, there we go.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful image,
Yeah.
that right there.
You know, kudos to whoever on the team came up with the idea. We know it was implemented by City Council, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's just one of those
Look
little
at that.
things
That is splendid.
that just took minimal effort, and it just transforms. I mean, the fact that it is a place that you can go with the kids, and,
Yeah.
well, you know, everybody have their social media post with it too, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's styled themselves in the middle of the light. But I just think it's such a great addition and an uplifting
Yeah.
site at this
Yeah.
time.
Beautiful.
All right, but we got to get moving into our show. There's more to talk about than Christmas lights. So let's get into our eye opener for this morning. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. So often, we are busy sending love and healing to others that we forget to send healing to ourselves. Most people, when given an opportunity to aid someone in need, are eager to do whatever they can to be of service. Those of us who have chosen to make healing the world a vocation are grateful for any occasion to send light and love to people in our immediate spheres of influence and beyond. As we apply our passion and our principles to this altruistic endeavor, we often forget to send ourselves the same bountiful gifts of wellness, though we ourselves may be in dire need of it. We overlook ourselves, not because we forget, but because we fear that focusing on the self is an indicator of selfishness. If you sincerely believe that there is a part of yourself that exists independently of upset and illness, the love and light you send yourself will help you connect with it. You will see the affirmative impact of this connection almost immediately when you include yourself in the recipients of your healing gifts, as life's frustrations become more tolerable and your bliss becomes even more palpable.
So this speaks to selflessness and altruism, and the fact that many of us give of ourselves to the point that we sort of ignore ourselves, right? We're always helping others. We're always making things happen for someone else who may be in need, and we don't tend to look inward and say, you know what? Let me focus on me for now. Let me, do the things that would allow me to either replenish my mind, body, and soul so that I could continue to be that person for others. And so this eye-opener kind of reminds us that it is important for us to be able to take that time out and reflect and develop ourselves, and just realize that doing so is not being selfish.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we say, well, let me pamper myself.
Yeah.
And then in the process of so doing, you're thinking, okay, well, is this me becoming this self-centered or selfish person? It is not. It's just that you need to be able to take the time to do that for yourself as much as you're doing it for others.
Absolutely. You know, I'll say this much. The first group of people that came to mind this morning was parents.
Yeah.
You know, especially this time where they're trying to get everything ready. It has been a tough year. It's been a tough 2 years. And they're trying to give their children the best possible Christmas that they can.
Yeah.
And how many times have we not seen it where the children are decked out, they look great, they have everything they want and need, and mom and dad, well, you can see they didn't prioritize themselves.
They're the last addition, so to speak.
Yeah. And so I think that when I read the eye-opener, I thought of how important it is that, parents also use that as a part of their reflection, that as you prepare the family for Christmas, you're also part of the family.
Yeah.
You're also someone who deserves to be taken care of and deserves to also have some great moments in between, whether it's self-care, if you want to get your hair done so you don't have to do it, or get yourself a new outfit so you can take pictures with the kids, or even a special gift for yourself. And you know what your budget can allow, but don't cut yourself out, because it's one, also teaching your kids that as adults, we don't need to do that, and we all know we do.
Yeah. It's a great eye-opener this morning.
Absolutely. And from our eye-opener to our weather update for today. And we are going to find out what we can expect for this Monday morning and the few days ahead from Crystal Rosales.
Mainly fair weather will prevail today with an increase in shower activity expected tomorrow ahead of a cold front. The 24-hour forecast: sunny with a few cloudy spells today and partly cloudy tonight. Showers will be isolated along with a chance for isolated thunderstorms. High temperatures for today will reach 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 89 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 75 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will be 76 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 70 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 5 to 15 knots, and sea conditions will be light chop. High tides occur at 11:23 this morning and then 10:24 tonight. Low tides at 4:19 this evening and then 5:56 tomorrow morning. The moon will set at 7:32 this morning and then rise at 6:45 tonight. Sunrise is at 6:17 this morning and sunset at 5:22 this evening. The extended forecast: showers and thunderstorms will be isolated at first, increasing mainly over inland and northern areas by midday Tuesday. Activity will then spread to central and southern areas by Tuesday night, gradually decreasing. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
All right, there you have it, your early Christmas treat. But Isani, you were saying you're nervous about it.
Yeah, I was just telling you, Marlene, that I'm kind of scared when it comes to cold front these days. The rain that accompanies the cold front puts a damper on everything, literally.
Well, they are saying we're going to see an increase of showers by tomorrow. So, that's very important for you to know. And that should be ahead of the cold front, which I'm hoping is a nice, cool, breezy one and not, like you said, a wet day.
Going into the final countdown to Christmas, I could do with putting on a sweater or a nice jacket, providing that it doesn't rain.
Okay. Yeah. But we'll see. We do know that it's going to increase in showers, and we do know that we're expecting cooler temperatures by midweek. But from our weather update to talking about some of the big stories that we are looking forward to in the week ahead, let's shift gears to Eye on the News.
So there are two major issues or developments, if I may, that we'll be tackling in the Eye on the News this morning, because those will be key stories in our newscast this evening. In no particular order, we have the lawsuit that is before the Supreme Court that was filed by the Feinstein Group, which is the State Bank enterprise, and the fact that the National Environmental Appraisal Committee is part of that claim that is before the court. And we have been reporting over the past week that there are allegations being made about members of NEAC who they're being accused essentially of wanting to take a bribe in respect of the Waterloo project, the Port of Belize expansion, right? And so while that is before the court, while the case against the Department of the Environment and NEAC is before the court, in which Portico, which is the principals for the Port of Magical Belize, is before the court, there is this investigation that's ongoing with respect to the claims made against the members of NEAC. So I know that we'll be following that closely today to see what the arguments will be and how that will shape out in court. Again, this has to do, with the State Bank tourism development and the fact that there is the Port of Magical Belize that will be developed near the Siboon River, and the fact that Waterloo is also seeking to build a cruise terminal at the Port of Belize location. So again, this will be an interesting development in the court. We will be following this one closely. Secondly, Marlene, and equally important, is today is the official start of the sugar crop. However, controversy abounds. We know that the ASR-BSI group has been in constant dialogue with all the stakeholders in the sugar industry, which includes the associations that have their membership who are cane farmers. This also includes the BSCFA. And towards the latter part of last week, we know that there were press conferences and there were developments ahead of what will be today's start of the sugar crop. And there still hasn't been any finality, right? I know that there is extreme caution being taken with respect of the situation that's developing in Orange Walk. And so that's another thing that we will be looking at very closely. I know that for its part, ASR-BSI has also been in constant dialogue with the media to kind of update us as to what is taking place on their end. And I know that as well, on Thursday, the BSCFA also met with the media to apprise us as to where they are. And there's this sense of a stalemate or a logjam between these two parties insofar as beginning the crop. And I know that when these things happen, it kind of affects the process. If not now, you will feel the effect of it later on throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, Isani, I think you can say that because we've been here before.
Yeah.
We've been here
several times
before.
Yeah.
And there is always challenges in being able to hammer out details of an agreement. This particular agreement that the BSCFA is asking to be renewed or renegotiated was one that I'm trying to remember how long it took, but it was a very drawn out process.
Yeah.
And it was detailed down to every last measurement that was used, from quantity of bagasse to number of kilowatts being output or generated. Yes. So it's a very complex problem. And I think that when you have two stakeholders involved that are dependent on each other, because the millers need the cane farmers, and the cane farmers need the millers.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Exactly, and so that's what makes it really challenging when they can't come to an agreement. But then when you look at it, we step back for a moment, so we see this as perhaps cane farmers and BSI in a disagreement, but the sugar industry is such an important part of the economy for Belize.
So it is the lifeblood of the North, actually.
Beyond the North, I mean, because it's such a critical part of where we rely on earning or income for the country, that any delays, any loss in price has an impact on us as well. So it's all eyes on the North, not just because there's some kind of road taking place, but and because it can get very testy, as we've seen in the past. But more so because it is a situation that impacts each and every one of us. And so today, the Zafra is supposed to start, and we did get some indication at the end of last week that the millers are saying they're going to move on with the other associations, because there are multiple associations. The largest one is the one that is currently in disagreement. And so what's going to happen today, I do hope things are able to be resolved. We did see the cabinet brief talk about suggesting that they at least delay the negotiations for the contract for, I think it was 6 months, right?
6 months, yes.
But we still haven't gotten much progress with that as yet.
Well, suffice to say that the BSCFA remains resolute in its position, right? And that, in part, is why we are where we are, because each side holds firmly to its own position, and we haven't been able to sort of broker something that works mutually for both ends of it. Right. So those are the two primary matters that we wanted to discuss today, because obviously they will take up a chunk of our newscast this evening.
Of course. And I imagine in this week ahead, we'll see a lot of the feel-good stories.
Yes.
This is the week that all the corporate entities come on out and they start to, give away different prizes and gifts to members of the community. So we'll probably be seeing a lot of that during this week as well.
Definitely. A lot of ham and turkey stories as well.
Hampers.
Last minute shopping and all these other stuff. So yes, look forward to that.
All right, so that's it for us with Eye on the News. And another big story that is coming out, of course, we have been talking about the detection of the latest variant, Omicron, in different countries across the world. And today we are going to put into focus what we know so far. We still don't know everything, but slowly there are some developments in terms of being able to understand what's different about this variant, how it affects people, who's being affected, and what the concerns are. So we're going to have Dr. Jorge Hidalgo in with us to talk about the latest developments with the new variant, Omicron.
Our second segment this morning, we're going to go Lebanese, Marlene.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to have a traditional Lebanese dessert being prepared for us. It's a Christmas treat, and this will be done by Chef Roger, who will be joining us in studio as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. So we're going to be focusing on some of the different cultures. We enjoy their food year-round, and so we're going to be looking at what they have for Christmas. Today, we're starting off with a Lebanese treat. And to close off for today, well, as the holidays draw near, we know a lot of people are going to need celebratory drinks as the weekend approaches. So we're going to have an entrepreneur here in Belize. They're called Barcode, and they create locally made cocktails that you can enjoy at home. You don't have to go to the bar. They'll deliver it, you pick it up, and you can mix it up at home and have your own celebration safely. So that's going to be our final conversation for today. Maybe we get a few recipes that we can try.
Definitely.
But that's what we have in store. So we're going to go ahead and take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to be focusing on the latest information about Omicron. So please stay tuned.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Morning, B.
Ready for full layback?
Yes, man. Just grab the rope and I will put down the camera. My name is Josh Marin. I'm a commercial fisherman out of San Pedro, and I've been fishing my whole life. We've been noticing that each and every time we go out, we have to find further grounds. So when I heard about the program, I found it as a very good business opportunity. Other fishermen, when they go out, they tend to bring in everything and anything, and that's what me and my crew don't do. We practice responsible fishing.
Just show me how the app work, G.
Easy thing, bro. All we gotta do is we're gonna put in how much fish we catch right here. Today we get 15 pounds of champagne and 30 pounds of queens. We have punch that in, and that's all. Oh, one more thing.
And welcome back. Our first segment, as we mentioned prior to the commercial break, is a discussion with Dr. Jorge Hidalgo, who's here with us in studio to discuss Omicron and what we need to know about this new variant. Good morning, Dr. Hidalgo.
Good morning, and thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure to me.
So we've been discussing casually over the past few weeks, once we've learned that there's this new variant that we should be looking out for, about how rapidly Omicron is spreading. I know it was initially detected in South Africa, but since then, it has been detected in other countries. That's what we know preliminarily. Perhaps what we don't know is the makeup of this particular variant and what makes it so transmissible. So perhaps we can begin there.
Yes. Well, and again, thank you for having me. And then, as I said, let's try to do a brief recap of what is on the facts. No.
Yeah.
The first case, as we know, was detected in Botswana, and then, of course, in South Africa was the first country that started to report different cases.
Yeah.
Officially, it was named as Omicron in the 26th of November. And then the initial cases and the initial information we got from South Africa is that despite that the virus was spreading, the form of presentation was mild. No? And of course, that is something that with the virus is very interesting, especially when we talk about the mutation. No? When we also mention the different variants,
Yeah.
and then we usually stop and saying that the natural way of a virus is to mutate and to survive no matter what. I mean that we will do many things, but the virus, it will find a way how to survive. And for that, the virus have the different mutations. Some changes in the virus or some mutations essentially are irrelevant and pass inadvertently, but some other mutation, it will cause some important changes, and then that means it's going to be more transmissible, it's going to cause an immune escape, it's going to be more virulent, and then we then say, okay, that is probably some of the terms we've been talking very often, and it's the variants of interest, and that means that essentially in the genetic information of the virus, it made this virus more transmissible, more virulent, and also affects the way how the clinical presentation is made, and also it start to see an increase in number of cases of cluster around countries or specific regions.
Yeah.
And this is, we call it that the virus of interest, but when the epidemiology changes and make the virus that has more impact than we call it the variants of concern.
Yeah.
And of course, the one that we are dealing right now is the Omicron.
Yeah.
One of the questions, if I could ask, is that people want to know if the vaccine that they have taken, how does it hold up against this new variant?
Okay, there are a couple important questions that we need to basically answer together. And one is if is this virus more transmissible? And then we, based on the information we have, we know that it's more transmissible. The second aspect is if the virus have the immune escape. All the Omicron, the different mutations are located in the spike protein, and it's essentially the area where the different vaccines and also most of the different treatments are targeted. I mean that one of the main concerns at the very beginning is if the vaccines we are having right now are still effective against Omicron. Now, all the information that we have right now is a preliminary information, and the preliminary data we are getting stating that is basically saying that the vaccines, the actual vaccines, are still working against Omicron.
So let's talk about what we do know so far. It is a variant of concern, which means there are changes that make the World Health Organization and other health entities worried about this spread. As of last week, I think it was over 70 countries that have already identified Omicron within their countries. We see international reports where, like the UK, for example, recorded the highest number of new infections in one day than throughout the entire pandemic. We see New York doubling new cases every single day. So really kind of showing us the example of what you just mentioned, that the concern of Omicron is how quickly it spreads. Do we have any data yet to know how many people can be or would be infected by exposure from Omicron?
Yes, well, the first thing is that the increase of transmission of Omicron is have a different ways, and then is an important science and data that is coming from Hong Kong, and talking about the transmissibility and why this virus is more transmissible. One of the things is important is that the information we have is that the virus is essentially in the respiratory tract. It will affect the passages and to the bronchial area. 70 times more than the Delta, no, and then the original SARS-CoV-2 that we knew.
So Delta was double the rate of transmissibility of the first detected SARS-CoV-2.
Yeah.
And now Omicron is 70% more than Delta.
In this particular area of the bronchial, but interestingly, when we go into the lung tissue, that essentially is where people get sicker, is 10 times lower than the original SARS-CoV-2. No? Mean that this one probably is one of the reasons why this virus is in a way behaving in a milder form compared with Delta. No?
So it has positives and I don't want to say pros and cons, but I guess the bad news about this variant is what you're saying, 70% more, what's the word? It spreads?
In the bronchial tree, in the passages of the bronchial.
So like, that's where we would cough or sneeze, so that means we spread more virus that way.
Exactly.
But the thing that causes severe illness, which is that replication within the lungs, that's slower with
10
Omicron.
times lower compared with the original SARS-CoV-2. No?
Okay.
Now, of course, this is the preliminary information, and that is where exactly we need to be very cautious.
Yeah.
Because, of course, as we initially said, most of the cases are basically presented with no symptoms, with a very mild, or we can say, a typical presentation. As you mentioned, UK, UK is reporting an average of 90,000 cases per day. From those cases, the amount of hospitalizations that they have related with COVID, an average of 50% of those admissions were admitted for other reasons rather than COVID, meaning that those patients were admitted thinking on other possibilities, probably a patient with a congestive heart failure, or a relapse, or a patient with a relapse of lupus, and then they tested, and the PCR test came back positive for Omicron, meaning that also the presentation of this could be very atypical, or we are probably go to the hospital thinking other reasons rather than Omicron.
So the government of Belize, via its cabinet brief, has issued the measures that they're trying to put in place to kind of stave off Omicron as best as possible. How do we know when Omicron is here in terms of the clinical processes that you need to take to be able to detect this variant in country?
Well, one of the advantages that we have in Belize now is that we have the ability to do our own sequencing in home. No? I mean that is really put us in a really advantage position, because that is one of the reasons why initially we say that in average the Omicron is being detected in an average to 70 to 77 countries, but more likely it's more countries, because not everybody have the capacity of do sequencing. I mean that we will have this information, and unfortunately is no doing sequencing is not something that like I have the sample, go to the lab, and it will be reported in 24 hours. It's especially those countries that they don't have the ability, they need to prepare the sample. The process of sending the sample out of the countries, I mean that process, it can take 3 to weeks or more than that to get back results. We have the advantage now that that process is done in country.
At the Central Medical Lab.
At the Central Medical Lab.
Yeah, and they're being taught how to do the sequencing for Omicron.
Yes.
Yeah. So we would be able to start to test our positive samples soon, I would hope.
I think so. That's the idea, no?
Yeah.
But the other part about it is that we've seen with each of the variants that have spread rapidly, the first COVID symptoms that we were looking out for were different from the Delta symptoms. What are we looking out for with Omicron? It's shifted a bit, right?
Yes, as we mentioned, and of course, again, all this information, we are learning every day from what is happening with Omicron. And then one of the preliminary information we got from South Africa is that the symptoms are different, in the sense that most of the time the patients are going to complain just of a headache, general tiredness, muscle ache, and that is going to be the initial presentation. Most of the patients are going to be completely asymptomatic, or some of the patients are going to essentially be detected in hospital, but the reason they are attending to the hospital is because of other reasons, rather than thinking that they have COVID or Omicron in that case.
There are two groups of people that I wanted to ask you about specifically, and their risks to the Omicron variant. One, persons who have not received a booster shot. So we know unvaccinated, clearly they're at risk. We know that. But if I've only received 2 doses and I haven't gotten a booster and it's been 5-6 months, am I at risk for Omicron?
Definitely no. If you don't have the booster, essentially we believe that after 6 months the protection of the vaccines is definitely less. I mean that it's really advisable for those that are already in time that they need to go and get the booster. No?
If I have gotten COVID in the past, am I at risk for reinfection with Omicron?
This is the other thing with Omicron, his ability to spread, and the other aspect is that you can get a reinfection with Omicron. You can be reinfected.
Is there a concern that a reinfection would be more severe? Like, you know, when you get a disease the second time, it's worse?
It's difficult. Again, all the information that we have is preliminary. We don't know. I think so. We have and collecting data, and I think so. As the pandemic and the Omicron is evolving, we will know more, and we'll be able to answer more those type of questions.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we hear some of the reports, and as you clearly stated, the lungs aren't as severely affected as we saw with Delta. I mean, I saw x-rays for myself. It's like overnight, it just takes over. But how do you still drive the point home to people that, especially in the cases of places like Belize, even if we have a wave of Omicron with people with milder symptoms, it can still be a very critical situation for us?
Yes, the situation in terms of, and you mentioned already, the aspect of who is going to be more vulnerable, hasn't changed. I mean that the people that have pulmonary problems, the people that have heart issues like congestive heart failure, hypertension, people with diabetes, people that are undergoing cancer treatment or they are diagnosed with cancer, people with immunological condition, those vulnerable population is still the same. And one of the most concerning issues is that the fact that since everybody say it's a mild form of the disease, the problem is that we will have more cases, and if we have more cases, that means the chances are that we have more hospitalized patients, and if we have more hospitalized patients, mean some of them will end in ICU, and we will have some deaths that already, for Omicron, deaths are already being reported. No?
Yeah. So the vulnerable groups remain the same. Hasn't changed.
No.
Including pregnant women. I know
exactly.
we have a challenge with that here. But I guess what you're saying, and it's such a critical point to drive home, or fatality rate, I think, is between 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Percent. So if you're talking about 2% of 100 cases detected, that's 2 people. But if we have a huge outbreak and it's 10,000, then we can see and I mean, when you look at the hospital care that is needed, and whether or not people will survive that's a whole other issue. So I want to ask you, as a critical care specialist, and someone who's been actively treating COVID patients for the last almost 2 years, how concerned are you about this variant?
Well, this is again, for us, is really concerned because again, we cannot take it so lightly. We need to, we as we always say, this is a social responsibility, and all of us are together in this to be able to control it. I mean that we need to act responsible based on that, and of course, one of the things is that if we have an outbreak, even if it's say a mild to moderate cases, the problem is that we are going to stress a health system that is already stressed. Mean that everybody, all of us, and I'm talking about in general, not only as a medical and someone who is in the front line, but everybody is already tired. No? And of course, everybody of us would like to go back to a more regular life, but unfortunately, it's not the case. We are essentially finishing the second year and enter the third year of the pandemic.
Yeah. And what's ironic about it, as you mentioned, is that while we're just about over the whole idea of the COVID pandemic, these variants, keep popping up, because one may be detected in South Africa today, next month a new strain pops up from somewhere else, and then we're right back at it again in terms of, you know, having to abide by all the protocols and not knowing how long this variant will be around before something else mutates and takes over.
And that's precisely the case, no? And is the nature of the virus. I mean, that the virus, it will continue to mutate again. And that's an important point, because if the more cases we have, the more possibilities are that these viruses are going to mutate, and then we will dealing with a different variant. This one, as we mentioned at the beginning and in our previous conversation, is a virus that have many things, different mutation in a very critical areas of the structure of the virus itself, and that's why despite that we say that it's a mild form, we are still collecting data, and we will probably know more in the following weeks.
With all the mutations recorded with Omicron, do we know if current treatment is holding up against severe Omicron?
Yes, that's another important question. You know, the most of the armamentarium that we have, like the steroids and interleukin-6, that is the most common medication that we usually use in the patients, especially in patients admitted in the hospital. We know that it's still working because those medications target different areas of the virus. That we don't know as yet, and we will have more information, is about the antimonoclonal antibodies. I think so that's is something that, because those targets are different, especially in the spike protein, and then we will know more in the following weeks. But at least interleukin-6 and dexamethasone, those are still working against Omicron.
So let's talk to people at home who, you know, there are two schools of people right now. There are those who are saying, you know, I'm just going to enjoy my Christmas, and there are those who are scared of trying to get together for Christmas. What's your professional advice as to how people should approach this upcoming weekend to keep everybody safe?
Well, as I mentioned, everybody at this stage of the pandemic, all of us are tired. We want to definitely try to get together, visit friends, stay with family, but we need to be responsible. That means that, and it's definitely unavoidable that is going to happen, but at least we need to act with a lot of responsibility. Again, as I mentioned, all of us are in this together. I mean that we need to be able to do those things that are until no proven that are working, and that is we need to wear our mask, we need to clean our hands, wash our hands, we need to try to keep our distance. It's an important trying to avoid crowded places, and make sure that if it's the case, we need to make sure that this is a properly ventilated areas. No?
So like crowded supermarkets that don't have open ventilation, try not to spend too much time in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because of course the transmission or the transmissibility, it depends on the setting, it depends on the contacts we are, and also the length of time we spend with those contacts. No? I mean that the less time that we spend in a place that is not properly ventilated is going to be the best.
Beyond Omicron, are you at all concerned with the proposed reopening of the border on January 1st, considering the fact that we will have an influx of people who will be coming into the country and leaving the country via these terrestrial points?
Well, those I think so. Some areas that are very controversial in terms of lockdown or not. No, of course, the World Health Organization is against, at least is proposing that lockdown is not the way because of the different impacts in all aspects, but mainly right now one of the things is the mental health, and of course the economic impact that is causing into the countries. No?
Yeah.
And I believe as the advisory medical committee, we give our recommendations to the government on those aspects. And then, as we say, the different approaches that is being recommended is the layer approach. I mean that we go and do a step by step and trying to release some of these measures based on that.
And you know, when you speak of layered, that's one of the things I know we've been seeing here, that basically all the protocols work together. Your vaccination, your mask, the distance, washing your hands. These are all things that, and distance, these are all things that we have to do together. Do you think that families with vulnerable persons should consider outdoor meals? Should they distance, especially if they don't all reside in the same home? Should they wear masks indoors if necessary?
Well, if you have someone who is vulnerable, I think so we need to act responsible based on that. No, we need to make sure that everybody is vaccinated. If it's already a time of the booster, that they have the booster, and also if it's needed, we need to wear mask during that point of time. Important. We are focused on Omicron, but Delta is still there. I mean, and Delta is right. I mean that please don't forget, because this is one of the things that we are probably sometimes focused on that, but Delta is still there, very aggressive, and I think so it's something that we cannot forget.
All right. Well, Doc, thank you so much for coming in. It's not what everybody wants to hear for Christmas, but it is important that we're able to give people the correct information as it becomes available.
Thank you, and I just want to wish you everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and please stay safe.
Yes, absolutely. All right, and from talking about the latest variant, we're shifting gears. So this week we are going to be featuring some cultural Christmas treats. And we don't mean cultures that we typically talk about.
Traditional cultures.
That's right. So today our first feature is going to be Lebanese sweet treats for the Christmas. We have Chef Roger with us, and he is going to be showing us the recipe, and I look forward to sampling. That's what's coming up next, so stay tuned.
This COVID update was brought to you by Foltex Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service. Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Foltex Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky, and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Foltex Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
With RF&G Insurance, you can request a quote, renew a policy, purchase a policy, and even file a claim effortlessly with WhatsApp. Here's how. WhatsApp the words "Get Started" to 670-8700. We will prompt you to select the service that you are interested in. Select the service and answer a few simple questions. An RF&G representative will process your request and follow up with you when your transaction is completed. It's that easy. Skip lines and WhatsApp us. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a road group company.
The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Hi, my name is Heather McIntosh. I'm the general manager, one of the shareholders here at Caribbean Shrimp Farm in Ladyville, Belize. We are an organic shrimp farm. We have 266 acres here. We produce organic shrimp for the local and foreign market. Also on my farm is an agritourism facility where we have a restaurant, a swimming pool. We do organic shrimp farm tours. We have a solar-powered boat that we do tours on as well. Nature trails, crocodile sanctuary, paintball park, and we are Belize's second only licensed gun range because we do have a very large property. So I'm a very diversified business. We've been working with DFC since 2019, and we entered into one of their renewable energy loans to help our diversified business manage its costs. 80% of our loan went to cover solar infrastructure, and then the balance of our loan went to replacing old refrigeration equipment. In terms of power, our PV system produces 105 kilowatt hours. That's the balance of the system. We have divided our system into 4 locations. On the farm itself, the farm proper, we have a pump house location, our restaurant location, then our processing and office location. And within those 3, we produce 70 kilowatts of power per day. We actually use about 100 to 130 kilowatts per day. So our solar on a really good day when we're not using a lot of electricity at night will cover more than half of our power use. Just depends on what our usages are in the season.
And we are back. And as we said, we're doing something different this Christmas. We know that we always talk about our traditional Christmas treats, but we have been enjoying a lot of different food from different cultures over the past few years. So today we are going to be finding out from Chef Roger Bino of Chef Roger's Catering what Christmas treats look like for you. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
How are
Chef
you guys
Roger.
doing
Good
today?
morning.
Yeah.
Perfect. Today we are going to do a Christmas log. In French we call it Bûche de Noël. And in Lebanon normally we celebrate Christmas eating the Bûche de Noël. We have it from the French, as Lebanon used to be a French colony. And that's why we keep that tradition, and every year we make it, I guess, better and better. So today we are going to demonstrate something that very simple and easy, but it requires some technique. Let's get started.
What are the ingredients that we're looking at here?
Okay, perfect. First of all, we need actually for the sponge cake, or it's in French technique said genoise, we need eggs, flour. I'm using cocoa powder. It's from made in Belize.
Nice.
And then you need some salt.
Some salt, okay. So this is basically a sponge cake
Sponge cake, yes,
that's made to look like a tree bark.
exactly.
Okay.
Actually, it's a log, yes. It will look like tree at the end, but when you finish, it will look like tree.
So you used to have this when you were growing up?
Of course, like on Christmas time, I mean Christmas Eve actually,
Yeah.
we will have a dinner and then go to church, and after that,
And then somebody brings out this.
yes.
All right. So we're gonna let's get started then.
Excellent. I have here already like 6 eggs. And I put 180 grams of sugar. So I beat it until double in size.
So just sugar and eggs are in there.
Yeah, sugar and eggs, and then you need to do it like at least for 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Because remember, we don't have no baking soda, no baking powder, so I require only for the eggs to rise
Okay.
in the oven.
Go ahead and turn it on. It's not plugged in?
Not plugged in. It's okay. Sorry about that.
I don't know what kind of power we'll have there. We'll get the cord ready for you right now, the orange one.
It's okay.
So this is going to be the base for the
This
cake.
is the base for the cake, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a sponge cake actually. And then we are going to beat it a little bit. I already do it like for 8 to 10 minutes earlier. And then we are going to finish it up.
Okay. And it is going to have chocolate in it as well? What's in
Normally,
front?
actually, the filling, it could be butter or cream. Today, I'm going to do it very easy and simple to everyone. If you are at home and you want to do it by yourself, it's very easy. I get, you can find those one in a local market.
Yeah.
And I get this from Carla by Carla, actually.
Okay.
And you can find those one there. Here we have whipped cream, and then we have the chocolate here. But it's as well, you can do it with the buttercream, of course.
So you can make this
Our
from
chocolate
scratch,
ganache.
or you can make it from one of the
Yes. There we go. It's okay.
All right, it's Monday morning.
It's
Our
fine.
brains are waking up.
So I already beat it. We don't have to beat it too much actually now. Over here I have the 180 gram flour. We just have to add the cocoa powder into it. Mix it a little bit. Remember, we don't want to mix it too much, so
You don't want to overbeat it.
exactly.
Because it's a sponge cake.
Right. So we just start to add at a time. Once to see everything, or the flour. There we go. Normally you have to fold it, so
Yeah.
I decided to do it that way. It's much easier at the moment.
Yeah. So if people are at home, first of all, they'll have to use a mixer to whisk it to get foamy.
Of course.
And then you would just kind of fold this in to the batter as
Right,
you move
right.
forward.
More or less, this should be ready. We just have to. All right. See, it's right here what we need.
Ooh.
Looks super creamy.
There we go. And then here we go. Here.
So where do we go from here?
Now we will have to, 1 second.
Go ahead.
I have something special here.
So this is what this looks like. Who got it?
Yes.
That's one.
There you go. Now I have spread here some butter and a wax paper on top of it.
Baking sheet.
Baking sheet, and then we just pour
Pour
all
that
of it.
in there.
Of course, you have the oven preheat at 180 degrees Celsius before 10 minutes.
Okay.
We just spread this one. This is demonstration that how it will look like more or less.
Yeah.
Do you make this every year for your family?
For the family, yes. not for everyone.
Not for customers.
Too much work, I guess.
Now
I
that
wish
might change.
Maybe everyone with these days, I don't know when, but
Yeah.
but it's very something different. You should try. Actually, it's
Yeah.
something.
Roger, now this is also an opportunity for us to talk a bit about how people have embraced trying your food. Tell us a bit about that. What's that been like for you?
It's very good experience, actually. We are. Let me just put that in the oven.
Sure.
Go ahead.
1
While
second.
that
Normally, we
bakes,
have
we
this
can talk.
oven. It's on. You just put it, and then that's when we have to remove this one. It will become a little bit fluffy here. As soon as it comes out from the oven, we just have to. Sorry. Just have to drizzle some of those, because remember we have to roll it.
Yeah.
So we drizzle some of those powdered sugar actually on top of it. And then we let it rest. You can cover it with as well wax paper.
You leave it to rest.
You leave it to rest like maybe, because we have to do it when it's hot. If it's like a little bit cold, it's a little hard. That's why you see, I do it this one last night, so I roll it so it won't crack like that. So if you do it right
Okay.
away, it should be fine.
So let's just come back
Yes,
to it while
sorry
we're still
about that.
talking.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
said you started off kind of, you did the hummus, you did the basic Lebanese food
We
that
did,
people
yeah. At the beginning, we start as a little bit catering, as many persons know.
Yeah.
And we have a small place, and then little by little, people start to come. So we start the new menu, and then little by little, we increase our. We make our breakfast now. We're doing our breakfast, which is Lebanese breakfast. It's like it's called manouche, and then normally we top it with different ingredients: cheese, spinach, meat, and many more.
Do you find that more and more Belizeans are taking to Lebanese cuisine?
Actually, yes. We have every day new people coming. New people want to try.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that many people love it now, since
Yeah.
it's, I would say, healthy and fresh all the time. We make sure like everything we serve is fresh.
Yeah, yeah. Are some people skeptical about trying when they come, like when they come for the first time?
To be honest, they will be surprised, but as soon as they try,
They want
weekly
more.
at least.
So what is it
people
that
coming early in the morning,
Yeah.
eat breakfast, lunch, and then they come back for dinner for the same day, same person. That's
What is it-
amazing.
what is it that they ask for the most when they come to a Lebanese restaurant?
We have many items on our menu, and it's most everything. It's, I don't want to say one item sell, but everything it's nice, and everything you should try. It's something different. Each item has different taste, different flavor actually.
Yeah.
So if you are into Lebanese or Mediterranean cuisine, you should come and try it.
Yeah. And you do catering from the small, just one wrap,
We do, from one wrap to probably
a whole platter.
Yes. And we have special order if someone wants something different or something special. Like we have our, as it's showing, this is our actual breakfast. It was Lebanese Independence Day.
Okay.
And then we do it. This is our breakfast. We call it za'atar. It's showing now. Behind it, it's eggs. Actually, it's like I don't want to say pizza, so I don't want to spoil it. It's just like
It's not
similar,
pizza.
but
Yeah.
Kinda
it's
like
similar,
pizza.
but
And
kind of.
this?
Yeah, this is, we call it knefe. It's really nice actually. It's very the knefe is a traditional sweet. Actually, we eat it in the morning, and lately we eat it every day. Actually, every minute. When we used to go party and then come back 4 o'clock in the morning and eat the knefe. This is a mix number 2. Actually, we offer in our menu. Tabbouleh salad behind, French fries, of course, garlic, and some hummus. Which is and this is breakfast as well. This is the front one. It's called kishik. It's made from yogurt and wheat actually, and the one at the back za'atar as well with some onion. And this is it's eggs actually.
Yeah.
I make it for the house. It was Sunday. I don't it's like shakshuka actually. It's a Saudi Saudi dishes actually. It's
And
very
sometimes
nice.
you put the egg on top of the bread for the
Yes,
breakfast.
yes. I know we bake it actually. Everything it's baked in the breakfast item, and we serve it from 8 to 10 o'clock at the moment. Hopefully after COVID we can extend it more, see what will happen.
So there we go. So people are embracing breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, actually. It's not like, and we open all day. This is the eggs, actually. This is the meat what we're talking about. This is meat and eggs. It's very, very nice and tasty and really light. Probably you can eat 2 of those and you feel like you want more and more and more.
I do know that. And there is well, my favorite is the za'atar with the cheese.
Yes.
So, so many different options. But it's great to see how people are trying new foods.
Yes. I'm very happy. And maybe in the future we can make it or just one the home combo hot fry, actually.
Okay, so let's come back to our Christmas treat. People might ask you for this one this week now.
I know. I prepared some, but for taste, everybody is welcome to try. All right, we have here the cake. Actually, it's a sponge cake already made. As I said, we can do chocolate ganache inside. Just you can do it one day ahead, and then next day you have to beat it as well. But the easiest way, for me, it's that way. You have this
whipped cream.
It's ready actually. You can just spread it, and then we roll it.
All right.
We will start to top this one now.
Do you also make desserts?
Oh yes, we do Lebanese dessert mostly, and then lately I start to do like for the client who come, like they want something sweet. It's really bite. I do small, everything small.
Yeah.
So you feel like we eat something sweet, we do it, of course. Like lately, many people ask me for mahalabi, which is milk pudding. We do it actually, and it's very light and sweet, and we top it with some rose water and some pistachio. It's really something you should try.
Yeah.
This one is very easy to make at home, not really complicated, but you just need to follow some steps because it's really hard, not really hard, but sometimes it sticks, so just you have to make sure you...
This is the part I want to see, how you're
going. This is already rolled from yesterday, so it's fine. It will crack, but don't worry because it's a little bit dry in the fridge. Normally when you do it, you have to just, you do it
when it's warm.
Yes. You do it when it's warm, it's much easier. Now it's still like, here we go.
All right.
That's how it takes shape. It's log.
It's a log, actually.
You see, he made that look so easy. I could not do that.
The thing, the good way, I never do it, but I say, you know what? All right, good.
All right.
This is the part finished, the basic. Now we have to try to shape it, right?
Yeah.
All right, first of all, we have some table like that.
Okay.
To make it stick a little bit at the bottom, we just put, because remember we have to spread it all.
Okay.
All right.
So you don't want it moving around everywhere.
So we just put this up, and then we spread
the whole thing?
Yeah, 1 second. Now we start to play around.
That's an
First of all, actually,
shape for a dessert, though, I must say.
It's what?
It's an interesting shape.
There is a way, actually. It's much easier if you want to do chocolate ganache as well, and then you just drizzle on top of it, and you let it rest. It will be perfect as well. Ooh. So for us to do it as a log or like as a piece of tree, we'll have to play with it a little bit, right? So we cut. All right, that's piece of the tree, right? Remember, like oak tree, normally when it drop, it has branches that drop from there. We do 2 sides. One straight. Okay.
Okay.
Now we'll have to glue it, right? First of all, we can just put this one here. It's a little bit messy, but at the end, once in Christmas time, I guess you will feel happy to play with chocolate around you. Especially my kids have.
Oh, your kids are great helpers. We know that.
Great helper, one of all, and sweet lover. So most of the thing, it's gone from home.
So you put them one to the side, one
to the
top.
side, one to the top, and then we just spread it. So it will look like a real log after we finish. If you have a bag, I do it like this so easier, maybe not easier, but if you have a pastry bag, it's much easier, of course. You just spread on it. But the reason I'm doing it like this is the basic.
This is how people do it at home.
This is how I learned to do it from school.
So you were cooking from you were small?
Yeah, actually, I start like I finished my culinary school in 2000, and then before then we used to go like party catering help. That's why I started to like the cooking.
How did you end up in Belize?
It's a great story. I finished my culinary school and then I get trained with someone in Lebanon, which is a thanks for him to bring me in Belize.
Okay.
And then how we get here, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a very long, little story, nice story.
Yeah.
You've been here since? And
Today, actually, I complete 20 years in Belize.
Wow.
What? Today?
Not today, sorry. Actually, on July, sorry.
20 years?
20 years in Belize, yes. See, it starts to look like a log.
So
actually.
now, do you make rice and beans?
I love rice and beans.
Okay,
we do weekly, actually. Sometimes I tell my wife, I'm craving rice and beans. We have to do it today.
So you cook hummus and tabbouleh for us, and you make rice and beans at home for yourself.
Believe it or not, that's what we do.
Yeah.
At least twice, or we have beans all the time at home.
Okay, is there any food in your culture that is similar to what you find in Belize?
Normally, actually, the rice and beans, but we do the white rice and stew beans.
Okay.
And we put some noodle in the rice.
Noodles?
This is noodle, little small noodles. But we don't, I never try like the chicken with the beans. We normally do it on lamb or beef. But
Yeah.
with the chicken, I tell my mom the other day, I tell her, you should try it. It's so nice that you should try it.
A new one.
I make it little messy. Normally, you can put wax paper around the edges so you don't, it
So you
won't
can
look.
clean it?
Yes.
That's okay. That's just more chocolate for us to eat.
Oh, yeah. That's the best part, actually. Here we go. Now to decorate it, that's it. Actually, we have, let me just move this one.
So there we have, this is the basics of the Christmas log.
Yes.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Christmas log.
This is, all right, this is the way. I have two way, actually. You can get this one, or you can just have a fork. Simple way. You just play around with it like that, the way how you like.
Oh.
And of course, when it's cold, it will look much beautiful.
So once again, it was just a sponge cake.
Sponge cake, and yes, the cream on top.
And the chocolate on top.
Yeah. And normally it will look like we have to dust it later. Right. This is we finish from it.
Okay. So that's partially finished.
Yeah, that's
Let
partially
me get this
finished.
out of the way.
Yes. And I made one ready
To
with
show
a
us what the
decoration.
finished product will look like.
More or less, it will look like this.
Wow.
After you decorate it, actually.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
And at that moment, I would like to say thanks to Miss Carla, because she's the one who provided me with all this decoration around.
All right.
All right. And then that's on Christmas, of course. It's cold in some areas, especially in French and Lebanon. You can just visit some of the
gives it the
Powdered
snowflake.
powdered sugar.
It gives it a snowflake look, right?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Here we go.
That's nice.
Oh, it's pretty.
See, it's melting because it's really hot here, but you have to extra keep doing it like it's snowing. But it's okay. There you go.
Well, you know, snow doesn't stay pretty and white all the time,
I
right?
know, right? It will melt at the end of the day, right?
All right, so that's what you're looking at here. Let's talk about, how do you say it again?
Bûche de Noël.
Biche de Noël.
Bûche,
All
de
right.
Noël.
Or, what's it in English?
Christmas log.
Christmas log.
Christmas cake, I would say.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That takes some real creative skills, man, in it to get it to that. Nice.
All right, what other traditional food would you have around Christmas?
Of course, we have the turkey and Lebanese rice, which is we top it with some nuts and allspice.
Yeah.
And of course, we have some salad along with it. That's for dinner. And then next day, we have like tradition that we go to visit our grandmother, actually grandfather, and we spend the day with them until the day finish. Everybody
eat
go
more.
home. Of course, that's all. I mean,
eating, right?
that's all the time we're eating and preparing and
All right.
having fun.
Excellent. That's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right. Well, Roger, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us, helping us to learn more about different cultures. Here we have the Christmas log, and this is a traditional sweet that you would have around Christmas back home.
Thank you so much for having us, and wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, guys. Be safe, wear your mask.
Yeah.
All right. Remember, you can find out more about Chef Roger at his Facebook page, Chef Roger Catering.
And phone number 600-7171.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, next up, drinks
We'll have
recipes.
Drinks, yeah. Barcode.
As it's homeless, and Belize is no exception. But lately, as Belize City continues to grow by leaps and bounds, the number of people living on the streets is growing. Tonight, News 5's William Neal brings you this report on the plight of the homeless.
If you walk the streets of Belize City, you can't help but notice them. Visit the post office or Bliss Institute and you might even trip over them. Not too long ago, the homeless meant only elderly males. Today, the group includes younger Belizeans of both sexes.
People say it doesn't exist. No one would like to admit that there is a city underground. People live every day off the waste and decay, off the discards of their fellow man.
Life on the streets requires street smarts, and success in this hand-to-mouth existence depends on lady luck, the kindness of strangers, or pickings from a dirt box. However, when smarts, luck, and charity fail, and hunger takes over, many find their way to Mercy Kitchen on Queen Street. The Mercy Kitchen, serving lunch to the homeless and elderly since 1986, began serving breakfast in October of last year. Magnus Vernon, who lives under the Parcel Post building on Church Street, visits the kitchen at every opportunity.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The other 3 days when you bounce like a tennis ball.
What do you do for food on those days?
Well, just bum around, fight the world.
Last night I had another restless sleep, wondering what tomorrow might bring. Last night I dreamed the full blue light was shining down on me, and screamed myself away, that I must be dying, that I must be dying.
Miss Rita Douglas, the assistant director at the kitchen, said the number of clients is steadily increasing.
On our guest list, we have 86 people on our guest list. And we, at this moment, we are not able to take on any more due to the allowance that we have, right? So who would come in at times, we'd give them that plate of food, but we really cannot have them on our list added on. So, you know, it's hard.
After satisfying their appetites, many of these people check out their health at the Mercy Clinic, housed in St. Catherine's Convent. Mrs. Donicia Ogay is the head nurse at the clinic.
We have about 35 homeless, and these men, mostly they are men, they are cases with stricture, you know, prostate gland, enlarged prostate gland, and they would come in with incontinence of mostly urine and feces, and that's why mostly it's for bathing. We bathe them daily because they are so smelly when they come in. And they are sent to the Belize City Hospital for further treatment if they need an operation, you know, to correct that problem.
Mrs. Oge also said that the clinic offers a change of clothing to clients, and in December, they hand out blankets to keep them warm in their street beds. There are a lucky few who have found a home at Gans Rest House, operated by the Salvation Army and located on East Canal. The institution can house 20 people and provides bed, breakfast and supper. Those who can afford it pay $1 a night, and there has been only a slight increase in the number staying here recently.
The reason for that is that most people want to bring in sick people, and we do not take sick people because we do not have the facility to care for sick people. If they are here and they become sick because of age after a number of years, well, we try to tolerate and take care of them.
Mr. Walter Banner is a long-time resident of Gans. Over 5 years ago, he was abandoned by his family. Where would you be if you weren't here at Gans Rest House?
What would be?
Yeah, where you would be.
Well, I will have to be on my own.
Shortly after this interview, Mr. Banner died. But thanks to Gans Rest House, he did not spend his last days alone or on the streets. Are Belizeans taking notice of the plight of the homeless?
Well, I'd like to do something about it. I feel like I'd like to take them home myself and care for them.
And most people say that there are people who have probably had a rough early life and they're just paying the consequences of their way of living now. Whether they be drunkards or just poor or whatever. But I'm not sure if that's a good excuse to just leave them there anyway, no?
They don't know that, well, some could be fortunate and some unfortunate, so they just, you know, people pass all kind of remarks on the streets, not pleasant, you know. That's all I can say.
You don't just build something, you will put them in a check and make them come off of the street and thing and get them a meal to time.
Has anyone ever beat you on the street?
Beat me? No. Well, I think I am able to take care of myself.
What did I do to deserve it? Can my trust in God? Worked every day of my life, thought I had some guarantees. That's what I thought. Yes, that's what I thought.
The Ministry of Social Services has plans to build a home. But until that home is built, perhaps the one thing even a homeless Belizean can count on is his best friend. William Neal, Channel 5 News, Belize City.
Perhaps this Christmas we can all look beyond ourselves a bit, if not to help the homeless directly, then to help those who do, like Gans Rest Home, the Salvation Army, Mercy Kitchen and Mercy Clinic.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Eggs Benedict with apple sausage. I'm gonna take 3 eggs, 3 egg yolks. I like to cook my eggs right on top of the stove in a metal bowl.
NextGen, the preferred service provider for the ultimate digital experience. Easier ways to connect, create, and share.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
And we're back, and we are moving into our final segment for today. We're trying to get you ready for the Christmas weekend. And of course, because you want to celebrate safely, why not take those cocktails at home?
Yes.
So we have with us Michelle Turton from Barcode, and she is telling us all about the business that they started in the pandemic and how they're making you have your bar drinks or cocktails within the comfort of your own home. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning. Nice to be here.
So you have a lovely display of drinks here. What are we looking at? What do you have here for the viewers to see?
Well, what we're looking at here is Belizeans' favorites. Everybody know all about the rum punch. Everybody love the panty ripper, the screwdriver. And so what we have here are our cocktails ready to pour and serve over ice. And so that's what we're offering. We also have our specially made rum cream, which is a version of Bailey's.
Okay.
People love this this rum cream here. It's very good on the rocks. It makes very good coladas, like if you make frozen drinks with them.
Yeah.
And it's awesome in your coffee in the morning.
Okay,
Right?
I'll
A
hang
little
on to
kick
this one.
in your coffee in the morning. So this here, Panty Ripper, people love this one here a lot. And of course, everybody's go to the rum punch, right?
There
Grab
we
and go. Just pour this on ice and you're set.
Okay.
We have these drinks in two versions. You have the pour and serve, which is just pour over ice.
Okay.
And some people prefer the more slushy kind of drinks,
Yeah.
the frozen drinks. And so we also make these in a more concentrated version where we provide them with the exact mixture. And so what they do then is they use it to make frozen drinks.
So these are concentrated?
These ones here are all pour and serve. But if anybody would contact us and they want the version to make frozen drinks, we make that as well. And it's a little bit more concentrated and thicker than this.
Yeah.
Because of course, you know, when you make frozen
When you
drinks,
mix it with ice.
it's blended with ice.
Yeah.
And so it has to be thicker and a little bit stronger. So when it blends, it gives you just the right blend that you want, right?
But let's step back for a bit. You know,
Okay.
I think when the bars shut down, I think people kind of just decided that they'll have to drink what they have at home.
Okay.
And then you all started this business, pick up from home.
Yes, well, let me give a little background.
Sure.
My common law husband, he's the bartender. A lot of you may know him. His name is Trevor Henkes.
Yes. Well-known mixologist.
Yes, well known. And so I am his support. I work along with him closely and he has taught me well. And so what happens is that during the lockdown, people, yes, still wanted their drinks. And so we started selling drinks from home. You can check out our Facebook page or Instagram page and you will see pictures of all our different frozen drinks. People especially love the frozen drinks. Of course, after the pandemic, people kept, well, we're still in a pandemic, but after the lockdown and everywhere started opening again, Trevor returned to his regular work, but people still kept asking for the products. And The frozen drinks, we still do them from time to time, whenever we have the time at home. But we started bottling the ready-mix cocktails, yes, because people were asking for them. And so that's basically what we started doing.
So when the bars closed, he needed to find something to do because he's
right.
a bartender.
That's right. That's right.
And
And out of work for a while, and so that is one of the things that we kept doing, to keep it going.
And from the requests that you got, what were some of the popular frozen drinks people wanted?
People loved the frozen panty ripper.
Okay.
They loved the rum punch. We even do frozen rum punch. They loved, we did margaritas. That was one of the very popular drinks for us. And of course, pina coladas. That was a great seller, the pina colada.
Okay. And so since, as you said, the restaurants have started back up, he went back to work. Now you are selling the concentrated and pour and serve version.
Right. So we have two versions. We have the pour and serve, and we have the more concentrated versions. These all sell for $20. The concentrated ones sell for like $25.
Okay.
And those, again, when we give that to you, we give you with the little recipe, which is the exact blend, how to pour so that you get just right.
So you won't have it and say this to water down.
Right, it's too water. Right, we
it.
tell you exactly how to do it. It won't be watered down, and it gives the right flavor that you're looking for.
Okay.
What is this one?
Yes, this one here, some people prefer a more strawberry flavor, and so this is the strawberry cream. All right, our labels were not completed for this one, so that is the strawberry version to this. This is the rum cream, more chocolatey, but some people prefer the strawberry flavor, so this is the strawberry cream.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Hide that from your children. It is not strawberry milk.
Yes, and it actually tastes like a nice strawberry smoothie. It does.
All right, so we got panty rippers, we got rum punch. What other pour and serve you have?
For right now, we have the rum punch, we have the panty ripper, we have the screwdriver. Everybody knows the orange juice and vodka, and we also do make sangria. However, we don't have any of that on the show today.
Okay.
So those are the main pour and serve that we have. But for the frozen ones, it is the frozen panty ripper and it is the frozen rum punch. This doesn't do well frozen, so we don't do that version, and it really wouldn't have much of a good flavor when right. So it's mostly the frozen panty ripper and the frozen rum punch, and of course this here makes a very good, sort of like Bailey's colada. This makes a very, very good frozen drink here. All right, I can give you all a little sample of this. I mean. Why not have a little kick in the morning? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
I like how you put that.
And as I said, it's good on the rocks. It goes very well in coffee, or you can have it in frozen drinks. All right.
Nice.
So that's the rum cream. That's the Irish cream. Yes.
That's delicious.
Yep.
No, definitely. And it's creamy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine how this tastes good.
And the beauty with this here, the rum cream, is a lot of people tend to confuse it with the rum popo.
Yeah.
But it's different from the rum popo because it doesn't have any eggs.
Okay.
All right. And it doesn't have to be refrigerated. It's like Bailey's when you go to the bars, Bailey's is on the shelf. It's the same thing. It can stay on your shelf. And it has a very long shelf life, and when you're ready for it, of course, it won't last too long on your shelf because it's so good. You enjoy it often, right? And so you leave it on your shelf. You pour out some. You put it in your coffee. You make frozen drinks with it, and you're good to go.
So let's talk about orders for Christmas. Can people still get their ready-made barcode mix this week?
Of course. You can WhatsApp to 671-7532, and we have our Instagram page, we have our Facebook page. You send us a message there, and you place your orders. I do have several orders for this week.
Nice.
Ready to go, and people then just pick up the orders.
So there's been a demand more so this week in terms
More
of people
so
ordering?
this week. In fact, I've had a lot of orders specifically for this week. People said, you know, if I get that thing before, it won't last until Christmas, so I'm gonna get it Christmas week. Yes, I'm gonna get it Christmas week anytime just before the Christmas, and so I do have several orders that we're filling for this week, and we're good to go, and we're welcoming more orders, and you know, make people's Christmas happy and merry in the comfort of your home.
I just love, you know, I love featuring businesses that have started in the pandemic, because it just reminds us of how innovative we can be when things get challenging.
Yes.
But here's the thing, if I try to make these at home, what's the difference between purchasing your product or if I mix orange juice and vodka at home?
Right. Oftentimes, you know, people, when they go to the bars, it's because you have a mixologist, a bartender there who is mixing it just right. You buy the stuff and you take it at home, or you buy different versions of juices or whatever, and you mix it at home, and it just doesn't taste the same as if when you're in the bar. And so our mixologist, Trevor, he has just the right blend, and you may know he's very good at what he does, and he has just the right blend, and so he mixes up the batches, and then we bottle them. So no, you don't have to be worrying about, okay, am I putting in the right amount of rum? Am I putting in, you know, people want also a tasty drink, but they want to taste the liquor as well, right? And sometimes drinks, they want to feel a punch, they want to feel that kick. And sometimes drinks are too weak, or they're too sweet, or so with this you have just the right blend at your hand, you pour and serve. And for the ones that are frozen, again, in order to make a good frozen drink, you have to know the right blend. And so we provide you with the little recipe, if you want to call it that, that tells you exactly how many shots or how many ounces of the ready mix to pour in with your ice, and you blend, and you're good to go.
All right. And is this available only in Belize City?
We are also, our products are also being advertised on Belize On.
Okay.
And so countrywide, people are able to get access to them. People have messaged us from out district, and we do send on Tropic, we send on BPMS.
Okay.
Okay, so people from out district can also order.
And do you have like gallon size? If I'm gonna have people over, this won't hold up very long,
Of course, we do make the gallon size. These little ones here are also good. They're good to go. This particular drink here, this size here, gives you a nice 2 to 3 cups, depending on how many that you're. And so it's a good little grab and go. And yes, of course, if we have orders for bigger batches, we can do that as well.
All right. So I understand we have a giveaway lined up as well.
Yes, yes.
So we have rum punch, pour and serve.
Yes.
And a rum cream.
Right.
That will also go to one of our lucky viewers. So we know what that means. It means go to Facebook, pull out your phone, your tablet, your computer, go to Facebook, go to Open Your Eyes BZ, and the first person to answer the question right in the comments of the live stream will be our winner. So first up, Michelle, this is your question, so you got to tell us.
You come up with the question.
All right.
Wow.
So it could be business related. It could be something you've told. Well, it should be something you told us during the segment.
Okay. So what's the name of our mixologist, or the person behind these lovely drinks?
All right. And that one wins his special recipe of rum cream.
Yeah, and they're gonna get it in this, this nice little Santa bag here.
Fancy. All right. And question number 2 is.
Question number 2. You know, oftentimes people, when they hear the drinks, screwdriver, panty ripper, rum punch, especially, you know, they would say, so what is in that? And people oftentimes mix up, you know, what are the ingredients in actual. So if the person who can tell me what are the main ingredients in a panty ripper, then that person wins. Yes.
Then that person wins a bottle of rum punch. There you have it. So our producer is going to be able to tell us who won those prizes. I put you on the spot there, I know.
That's good.
But we appreciate you coming in and showcasing what you've been up to and what you're offering to Belizean homes across the country.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
And we look forward to serving up some drinks this week and, for people to enjoy themselves and have a safe time at home.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, the business is called
Barcode. And this shirt was actually made by one of our a fellow small business owner, Penny's Trove Center, and so they made this for us.
Nice.
And so we like to also support other small businesses as well.
Yeah.
Showcasing their products.
The pandemic has allowed us to do that, right?
Yes.
It's one of the positives that we'll take away from this experience.
Yes, there's a lot of networking and people reaching out, assisting each other, and that's
You
lovely.
said even the rum companies have been very supportive.
Yes, one of our big sponsors is Travelers Belize, so they have always been very supportive of Barcode, and we thank them for that. We have other small business, like sometimes you want to put your products and you're not sure. You have other people say, well, I have bottles, I can, and we do things like that.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome. It's awesome the support that you get.
All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you too for having me.
Thank you for telling us about Barcode, where you can get your rum cream, your pantarippa, your rum punch, your screwdriver, your sangrias, ready-made for you
All
to
your
drink
needs.
at home.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We're going to go ahead and take that break. When we come back, we'll tell you who won the giveaways for today and wrap the show up. So please stay tuned.
Following the COVID-19 vaccination, some people may experience side effects such as soreness at the injection site, chills, nausea, body aches, or a fever. But these symptoms go away after a few days. These side effects are a result of your immune system responding to the vaccine and are not a sign that you are sick with COVID-19. The COVID-19 vaccines will not give you COVID. When you receive your vaccine, the health worker will advise you what to take if you are experiencing any of these side effects. Remember, these mild side effects cannot compare to you not being able to share memorable moments with your family and friends if you fall gravely ill from COVID. Vaccines bring us closer.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
we're back.
We're at the tail end of our show. Marlene, we have drinks and we have a log cake. Those are the second and third segments of our show this morning.
And clearly parts of the log cake I'm missing already.
Hey, it's here for us to taste, right?
Yeah,
so everybody's perhaps going to get a slice of it sometime during the course of the day while it lasts, right?
That's right. So, I think just recapping today, I think the first conversation reminds us of why we need to be baking at home and making your drinks at home.
Yeah.
Just because there is a new variant, it is highly transmissible. And while early reports are saying it is going to affect people differently, we do have to be careful of having too many cases all at once. So once again, there is the reiteration of the message of doing all that you can to stay safe during this season. And so from that, I want to say thank you to Dr. Hidalgo for coming in and giving us that update. A very key message there is too that Belize is getting trained to do the sequencing to detect Omicron in country, which is a big step. You remember the days when we used to have to send samples out to CARFA and wait for it to be,
and all these other places. Yeah.
So that's a big step for us. And then?
And then, of course, we're here. This was a makeshift oven. Then it became a bar top.
Yeah.
And so we have the log cake that Chef Roger prepared for us.
Yeah.
That is part of a Lebanese cuisine.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, Marlene, this week we're focusing on looking at some of the foods and the traditions that we've adopted from those who have chosen to live in Belize, to move to Belize. So we started with the Lebanese one.
Well, I think it's great. I think the idea of being able to talk about what they have for Christmas is a great opportunity. They still do turkey, but with a different type of rice. And this is the treat that they have, adapted from the French because they are a previous French colony. So we get to learn more about their cultures. We already love their food. We know that much. So today we journeyed into Christmas treats for Lebanon. Tomorrow it's going to be Indian.
Nice, nice.
And if it's anything like their lunch, I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. And so our third segment was about drinks. So these you can grab and go and have at home. If you don't want to be out and about over the Christmas weekend and you prefer to be at home, you can always grab one of these and do your own thing, right? Some of them are ready to mix on ice and some you can blend and prepare it otherwise.
I had to ask that question to Michelle in the end because I know I'm one of those people who you get a great cocktail at a restaurant or at a bar and you're like, I'm going to make this at home. And you buy everything and you try to do it. First of all, how do you even make simple syrup? That's just the story in itself. But you try to do it at home. It tastes nothing like what you get at the restaurant. So I prefer getting the restaurant quality in a bottle that I could just pour at home, and that makes life much easier.
The beauty of it too is that when you grab something from Barcode, they give you the preparation, the recipe in terms of getting it right.
Yeah, especially if you're going to make a blended drink. So you could either just pour it straight out of the bottle and have it, or they're concentrated versions for your frozen version of your drink. So you can find them on Facebook and Instagram, and you can still pick up some of their ready-to-go mixes this week before Christmas, right?
All right, so there we go.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Oh, the giveaways. I'm so sorry. How did I forget? So we got a winner.
Two winners.
Two winners. And I'm going to tell you exactly who that is. The first winner is
Rhonda Major.
Good memory, right? So Rhonda, you got the bottle of rum cream, courtesy of Barcode. And our second winner is Sherilyn Young. Sherilyn, you walk away with a rum punch from Barcode. Remember, you can pick those up from Channel 5 and just bring an ID. Thank you so much for participating. And thank you to all our viewers who tuned in this morning. Remember to join us again tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.